Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to stay updated with all our latest content. Join us and never miss out on the excitement. In a gas station bathroom, Ellie plays around with the gun she stole from Bill and Frank, making sure to remove the magazine and the bullet in the chamber before practicing her stance in a mirror. After storing it in her backpack, she heads outside to find Joel siphoning gas for the truck from an abandoned car. They have to make a stop for gas almost every hour due to the fuel's age, compared to the 10 to 12 hours that cars used to drive on a full tank of gas. To pass the time, she pulls out No Pun Intended, Volume 2 by Will Livingston, and tries reading a series of bad puns to an unreceptive Joel. As they head back on the road, Ellie finds another cassette tape, this one of Hank Williams's Alone and Forsaken, which Joel enjoys. They continue on their way, observing the ruins of civilization as they drive. As dusk falls, Joel decides to call it a day and drives them into a wooded area to camp for the night. He serves Ellie some 20-year-old cans of Chef Boyardee ravioli, which they both agree is pretty good. Joel plans to sleep for the night before driving non-stop to Wyoming for the next 24 hours and hopefully get there by the next morning. Ellie suggests they start a fire, which Joel objects to strongly. Rather than alert any infected, it will alert other people, whom Joel warns will do far more than just rob them. As they climb into their sleeping bags, Joel sets his rifle up next to him. Ellie tries to lighten the mood before sleeping by asking, "Why did the Scarecrow get an award?" Joel, slightly amused, replies, "Because he was outstanding in his field," before telling Ellie to go to sleep. Ellie asks if anyone will find them out in the wild, which Joel denies. As Ellie drifts off, however, Joel's paranoia gets the better of him, and he climbs out of his sleeping bag to keep guard with this gun all night. Ellie wakes up the next morning to Joel making coffee, the smell of which she finds disgusting. As they drive, she expresses incredulity that it is what Starbucks used to serve, to which Joel slurps it loudly in response. She asks him about Tommy. Joel explains his last known location was somewhere near Cody, Wyoming, and if he is not there, he will be in a nearby settlement. With some prodding from Ellie, Joel further explains Tommy has always wanted to be a hero, and so enlisted in the army after graduating high school. However, he became disillusioned after serving in Operation Desert Storm. After the outbreak, Joel followed him from Texas to the Boston QZ to make sure he would not get into trouble. It was there that they met Tess and Marlene, the latter of whom triggered Tommy's dreams of saving the world by recruiting him into the Fireflies. However, the last Joel heard, he had also quit and is on his own, prompting Joel's mission to find him. Ellie asks why Joel is so determined to keep on going if he has given up on the world. Joel retorts that she has not seen the world, but he keeps going for family. Ellie points out she's not family. Joel agrees, saying, "You're cargo," but he made a promise to Tess. As they arrive in Kansas City, Missouri, they find the road blocked by an abandoned truck. Faced with a clear road up ahead versus having to drive back and around the city, delaying their arrival in Wyoming, Joel resolves to take a detour through the city streets and get back on the interstate from there. However, they quickly become lost, navigating the streets, failing to notice recently burned body piles. They soon come across the entrance to the Kansas City QZ, but are alarmed to see no Fedra presence. They are soon interrupted by a man in the street claiming to be injured. However, Joel is not fooled and immediately steps on the accelerator. Sure enough, the man turns out to be a rebel, and they are quickly ambushed and crash the car into an abandoned laundromat. Joel instructs Ellie to hide in a hole in a wall before using his rifle to kill two revolutionaries shooting at them. As he reloads, however, he is ambushed by a third rebel who attempts to choke him to death. Ellie gets the drop on him with her gun, shooting him in the back and paralyzing him. Ellie watches as the man, whose name is Brian, starts pleading for his life. Joel tells Ellie to get back behind the wall, which she does. She listens as Joel ignores Brian's frantic pleas for mercy and stabs him to death. Disturbed, Ellie feigns indifference upon reuniting with Joel as they venture outside. They watch as armored vehicles discover the carnage before heading into another building. In the remains of a Fedra detention center, Kathleen, the leader of the revolutionaries, interrogates Dr. Edelstein regarding the whereabouts of Henry Burrell, whom she blames for causing the death of her brother by ratting him out to Fedra. Edelstein tells her she is taking things too far, which she denies, claiming Fedra forced her hand and demands at gunpoint that he reveal where Henry is. Edelstein remains silent, and they are interrupted by the arrival of a truck carrying the bodies of the people Joel killed. Kathleen's lieutenant, Harry, explains he thinks the killers were outsiders. Kathleen concludes they must have been brought in by Henry. Furious, Kathleen returns to the detention block and kills Edelstein before instructing the revolutionaries to find any collaborators and kill them. The revolutionaries take to the streets in their trucks, forcing Joel and Ellie to hide in an abandoned bar. As they wait for the coast to clear, Joel apologizes for putting Ellie in a situation where she had to kill or seriously injure someone, acknowledging she is just a kid. Though Ellie wipes some tears away, she admits it was not the first time she has hurt someone. Joel gives her the gun back and makes sure she understands basic gun safety, which she explains she learned in FEDRA school. He then gives her some tricks on how to hold it before entrusting it to her, telling her to hide it in her backpack. However, Ellie puts it in her coat pocket instead, before heading back to the streets. Kathleen checks in with Perry, reporting no sign of Henry or the people who killed her men. However, Perry escorts her into the attic of a nearby house, where they find several drawings clearly made by a child. She surmises that Henry is running low on supplies, but that he will not let his brother Sam starve, telling Perry to guard the provisions. However, Perry points her to a more pressing matter. He takes her into the basement of another building, where they find an indentation in the ground from which something is growing. Perry suggests alerting the others, but Kathleen tells him to wait until they deal with Henry and seal off the building until then. Joel and Ellie break into a high-rise apartment building, hoping to identify a clear route using the view from one of the upper floors. As they climb, Ellie asks how he recognized the ambush. Joel explains he had both seen and done the trick himself with Tess and Tommy. Ellie questions if Joel has killed innocent people, to which he does not respond. They manage to make it up 33 floors before Joel runs out of steam and camp out in one of the abandoned apartments. Ellie watches with bewilderment as Joel places broken glass between them and the door so no one can sneak up on them. As they lie on makeshift bedding, Joel follows up on their previous discussion by asking what she meant about the day's events not being her first time hurting someone, which she refuses to answer. He accepts this and reiterates it is not fair for her to have to deal with what they have seen at her age. Ellie responds to his honesty by admitting she noticed he is slightly hard of hearing in his right ear, which he attributes to his years of firing guns. Before he can go to sleep, Ellie catches him off guard by revealing diarrhea is hereditary. It runs in your genes. Joel is unable to stifle his laugh, and he manages to drift off to sleep at ease. However, having turned over and thus covered his good ear in his sleep, he is awoken by the sound of Ellie shouting for him. He opens his eyes to see her being held at gunpoint by a man, and turns to see a young boy also pointing a gun at him, who signals them to be quiet. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like this video and leave a comment below, and subscribe to the channel for more content. Thanks for your support. See you in the next video.